Hey, Mom, welcome to the show. So, I have a special treat for you today. I'm speaking with Randi Mahomes. Yes, she's the mom of superstar Patrick Mahomes. She's also the mother of Jackson and Mia. And on this episode, we talked about how she encouraged all of her kids to pursue their passions. And we also talk about something a lot of people don't talk about is managing your kids pursuing their high profile dreams. We also delve into when she became a single mother, juggling two jobs and still encouraging her kids to pursue their dreams, and so much more. Randi is so down to earth. She's so sweet. So I'm really excited about you listening today. So get ready because you do not want to miss this episode. Welcome to Momatize Your Passion, a place for moms with big dreams and an eagerness to turn them into a thriving reality. Whether you're a mother looking to monetize your talents, transition from a stagnant job, or explore a fun side hustle, you're in the right place. I'm Caroline, wife, mother, and the visionary behind Tinseltown Mom, a platform dedicated to helping moms to embrace and pursue their God-given dreams. After interviewing nearly 100 celebrities for my platform, one common theme stands out in their success stories: passion. As a former actress, current writer, celebrity blogger, and certified life coach, passion has always been at the core of my journey. And through it all, I've discovered the power of honing our gifts, learning from our past, and using our experiences to uplift others. Join me on the show as I explore stories of celebrity moms and successful mompreneurs, uncovering the roadmap to their accomplishments. I'll also be sharing business and marketing tips to guide you towards tangible ideas for making money. Here, my hope is that you'll find inspiration from God, encouragement, and practical insights to momatize your passion. Hey, Mom, if you're not yet on my newsletter, I encourage you to sign up. I only send an email once a week, and I keep you posted on podcast episodes, new blog posts and interviews, monetization and marketing ideas, giveaways, and so much more. So if you want to stay in the loop, please be sure to click the newsletter sign-up link in the show notes, and I will keep you updated. All right, now let's get into this conversation. Hi, Randi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to speak to you. I know everyone knows Patrick, but we want to know who Randi is, and we're excited. I'm excited to get to know you. Why don't we start by you just sharing a little bit about your background, how you grew up, and what life was like for you?
Well, I am actually proudly from a small town, about 1,100 people, no red light. My parents were both in the school. My dad was a teacher, a principal, a coach, and all of the above. And then my mom was a secretary at the school. And so I grew up. There's 4 kids, so there's 6 in our family. But I'm from a super duper grande large family. I have 53 first cousins.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I am from a super big family. And so, grew up around family a lot.
Yeah, what
So,
city? You're from Texas, right?
True, Texas.
I love that small town feel. Are you still there now?
No, I live about 30 minutes away. I'm in Tyler, and that's where Patrick and Jackson and my daughter Mia grew up. And, went to my daughter's in school here. She's 13. And then Patrick and Jackson went to White House, their, high school years and everything. So it's very close. It was great having my mom and dad at all the games of all the kids and everything. And, just very family oriented.
So tell us what it was like when you first became a mother. Like, what was that whole process like?
I don't recommend it because I started really young.
Yeah. How old were you, Randi?
I was 19 when I had Patrick. I had just graduated high school. But I do say he changed my life. He made me grow up really, really fast. And I went from, graduating high school, and then within a year I had Patrick. And so I always say he's not necessarily saved my life, but he changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had him and traveled for about 10 years with, I was married to his dad and Jackson's dad. And we traveled with his baseball because he played Major League Baseball for about 8 or 10 years. And then, we got a divorce, and I wanted to settle here in East Texas and raise the kids and give them kind of sort of what I grew up with, but a little bit bigger town, and be a mom. Like, I think I think about kids wondering, what they wanted to do. And I would always ask my kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? I never really knew, but I knew I wanted to be a mom. And I think that's my biggest accomplishment. I just retired from my job. I don't know if I want to call it retiring, because I still am doing other things that fulfill me in a different way. But when I got a divorce, I started working as a receptionist at a country club. Was blessed with that job, and then I got promoted, and so I did all the event planning for 20 years, basically. I just retired in July, and trying to find my new way. I really want to focus. The retirement was more to focus on being a daughter and being a mom and being a friend and just being more available instead of stuck in an office. I do miss it, but that was my focus. So right now my dad's in bad health, so I've really have gotten to focus on him a lot. So it's been good, and we've had some great conversations that I don't think I would have had if I was still working a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, like when you look back at things and you look at your present, you see how God
Yeah,
helps to unfold things in your life. So this
absolutely.
season that you're in your life, that, you can be present with your dad, because
Yeah,
I've heard he's had some health challenges. So
yeah, and
he's in my prayers. So,
thank you.
but thankfully you can be there for him and for your family. And you're
Yeah,
also a grandma. You can be there for
I
your.
am, and that has me thinking, do I need to move to Kansas City? Because I want to be there and see my grandkids more than I get to now, and then also be, at everything they do.
Yeah.
Soon they'll start playing sports, and they'll start, having, things that they're doing that I want to be a part of, like my parents were a part of mine.
Yeah,
My children.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that happening. So this is
Yeah,
you're in the
absolutely.
right season of your
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah.
just going back a little bit, as a young mom, you were an event planner. So you started as a receptionist and you ended up being an event planner. You were there almost 20 years. So
Yes.
I'm assuming you had some gifts or skills or some sort of talents that led up to you being able to plan events. So
You
did you have
know,
any passions, like just thinking back, that may have contributed to, you having this lucrative career?
I just think it was a God thing. The timing was perfect. I started, like I said, I needed a job during my divorce, and I started as a receptionist, making $9 an hour, and just working all the time. And then they offered me the position to advance, and I was so nervous because I didn't have any background, but I did it for a few months in between when they were looking to hire someone new, and then they offered it to me, and it just fell at the right time. um, and it just blessed me and my children for me to be able to buy a home, to be a provider for my children and show them, what a single mom could provide.
Wait, so what did that look like? So you were the receptionist, and one day they say, "Oh, we need an event planner." Do you like, how did that process happen?
Well, it was basically a new owner came in and took over. It was a country club, and a new owner took over, and they were trying to move things around, and they were getting a new event planner. And so in the meantime, they just told me to do it. So I was doing it and still being the receptionist. And they just decided to offer me the job. And so it was a God thing. It was the timing, I was so blessed, and I will say I had great work ethic because of my parents. Um, they never missed a day of work. They never, they were just very hard workers, and good parents, and so I think I just looked up to them, and you didn't miss work. I do regret because I never would miss, like, my kids. I worked on the weekends too, so my kids knew they were invited to a birthday party. We probably didn't go because I had to work on the weekend. So I do think sometimes I wish I would have been a little bit more free, but as a single mom providing 100% for my children, I just had to take advantage of this opportunity and go with it and give it 110%. And I
Yeah.
do look back now and say, if I could change anything, it would have been maybe miss work occasionally instead of losing vacation, using vacation, because I was just always wanting to save it just in case, something happened and the kids needed me. So that I think that's my one. I don't really look back and regret, but I always say like I wish I would have been more available on the weekends, but my job required me to work on the weekends.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
because of your job, you were a single
Yeah.
mom. I heard you in another interview. I think you were working two jobs at one point, trying to
Yeah.
provide for your kids, making
For
sure they had
nine
what
years
they
of
need.
that, I did.
For 9 years, you had two jobs?
Yes. Of that. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
was exhausting. Always told Patrick he was the man of the house. And so like, his little brother was always with him, and he's so protective of him now. They're best friends, so close. He's the one that moved him to Kansas City to be
Wow.
closer to him. So they're very, very close. And now I have a daughter, and Patrick, I think he was a junior in high school when I had her. And so he was always the man of the house, and he's very close to his sister and Brittany too, because that's when him and Brittany started dating. So they're very, very close to her. And so she's still in school. She's in middle school. And that's the one thing that's kept me here, is because I want her to be at a school she likes and not have to move, but we're thinking about it to
Oh,
be closer
yeah.
to family. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, what are the ages again of your kids?
Patrick's 29, Jackson's 24, and then Mia's 13.
So she's is she in eighth grade or ninth
She's
grade?
in eighth grade.
Okay.
I'm like, girls. I'm like, my mom had three girls. I'm like, how did you do it? I'm like, I barely can do this one girl, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so you're in the same home that Patrick and Jackson grew up in, right?
I
In
still
Tyler,
am in
Texas?
the exact same home. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
You
I'm
have a
still,
community that you've built.
it is. And my neighbors are the best. Like, they watch out for me. They watch my home. When I travel a lot, they're always, helping me out if I need it. And so
Yeah.
I think they're like family too, because they've been here as long as I have, if not longer. And so,
I
yeah,
love that. It's hard to find these days with neighbors. I love that.
it is. It really, really is. Everyone's like, "You're still there," and I'm like, "It's my house." Like, I
Yeah.
really don't want anything bigger. I'm like, I'm content,
Yeah.
except I don't get to see my boys or my grandkids like I would like.
Yes.
So,
Right. Well,
yeah.
so going back to when you were in high school, I know that's going back a while, but so before you got pregnant, were you thinking of anything that you wanted to do? Like, oh, I want to be an actress, or I want to do this. Like, were there any passions like when you were younger that you thought about?
I think I was just I moved out of my house when I was 16.
Really?
I did. And I kind of just lived with friends. I lived with one of my friends and her grandmother until I was 17 and a half. And then I moved in with another girlfriend and her family. I wouldn't say I was homeless because I always had a place to stay, but I moved out because I was very rebellious. And, I remember Patrick turning 16 and thinking, oh my gosh, like, if he moved out, I would be so crushed.
Yeah.
And it was a growing up time to think about that, because my parents really did fight to get me back home, and I fought the opposite. I mean, I love my parents and they did a great job. I don't know. I was very rebellious. And that's why I say like having Patrick was such a blessing, because it made me grow up, and I had this little human that needed me, and it changed me almost like overnight. Like, I was like a different person. I remember his father telling me, gosh, you sure are different now. And I was like, because I have a child that needs me, and I have to be the smart one to make good choices. And
Yeah.
so, anyways, I remember that, but it was a blessing. And then I loved being a mom. I love that he was my little buddy and would always be with me. And my ex-husband, he baseball, they're gone a lot. So it was really
Mhm.
me and Patrick for a long, long time. Just us in cities, in countries where I didn't know people. It was Patrick and me for the first, and his dad was there, but they go away for a week playing baseball in other states, and then he played overseas. So it was like a learning experience, and just living.
Yeah, I heard you say that you and Patrick kind of grew up together.
We did. We did.
Yeah.
And I tell him that. I'm like, I know I made mistakes as a mom, but I was growing up as you were growing up. And I wanted him to experience everything. Of course, every mom, I think, wants their kids to have more than what they had and more opportunities. So I tried with all of my kids to give them as many opportunities as I can. I mean, Patrick did karate. It was nothing anything in our
What?
family did. I mean, just for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did it for a couple of years. He did soccer. He did, things that I didn't have the opportunity to do. So I wanted him to try everything. And the crazy thing is, the only sport he ever quit, because for one, he didn't want to quit anything, but the only sport he ever quit was football.
I heard that. That is so crazy.
Yeah, and he didn't really quit. He barely started it when he was a little boy.
Yeah.
And I had just started working, and it was, they were practicing 3 days a week. And I was like, it was too much for me. He wasn't getting to be quarterback, and that's all he could think about at the time, still to this day. And when I said, I'm going to make you quit, because, and he was like, okay. And really, it benefited both of us.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look back and think, he played baseball and basketball and everything so much. Not that it got boring to him, but it just was like, I've done it my whole life. So football and when he played, it was kind of new. And then he loved the fans. Friday Night Lights in Texas is huge. And so he was like, gosh, there's so many fans. So the fans, I think, is what made him fall in love with football.
Yeah, I feel like just that's his passion now. Like I feel like sometimes passions kind of develop. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like you start off, oh, I want to do something, and then it evolves into something else, which becomes a passion. Sometimes
Hmm.
I heard that he was really good in basketball,
Yeah.
baseball too, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes like you trying your hand at different passions or, things that you like, it can develop into a passion.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is great because you as a mom encouraging your kids to pursue their passions, I think is awesome because
Hmm.
sometimes mothers don't realize the benefit in that. And I know
Exactly.
you encourage your kids to do that. Like what passions did you or do you encourage your kids in just in general, like all of your kids? Hey mom, are you feeling burdened by the never-ending laundry pile, whether it's spread out on your bed waiting to be folded or laid across the couch for other people to fold? Trust me, I've been there. When I was pregnant with my oldest, I actually hired a laundry service to take this chore off of my plate. All I would do was put the dirty clothes in a garbage bag, lay it out by the door, and then by the next day, I'd have clean clothes that were perfectly folded. So if you're a mom who needs one less thing on your to-do list, let me introduce you to Poplin. Poplin is a nationwide laundry service known as the fastest, most care-obsessed, and affordable laundry solution in America. There's other benefits too. They start at just $1 a pound. They offer free pickup and next day delivery. They're available in over 500 markets nationwide. Plus, they offer personalized service from detergent choice to folding style. So if you want to give this a try, click the Poplin link in the show notes and use code Tinseltown10 for $10 off. Again, if you want to take something off of your plate, click the Poplin link in the show notes. All right, let's get back into this episode.
Well, I try to, give them all of the opportunities that they can have that I am able to provide, just so they can see what it is. Jackson, I mean, he's 6'7", so tall. He was great at basketball. But when he went to college, I mean, he could have went to play basketball, but his passion was he wanted to work and be in marketing. And I know with him, he would always ask me, like, who's your boss? Why don't you want to be the manager? Why don't you want to be this? And I'm like, I'm content. Like where I was content.
Yeah.
With him, he's always like wanting to go, like, he wants to, start wherever, but he wants to see who's at the top of the chain and go for it. And I love that he has that passion and that, that's his personality. And then Mia, we're trying to figure it out. She's my daughter, and right now, I can't believe that she likes tennis, which tennis has never been a thing that our family even knew about, anything.
Yeah.
And she's doing tennis and she's excelling big time.
Wow.
And I love that, I gave her the opportunity. I gave all my kids the opportunity for that because they had it at my work. And so they were kind of forced to be in camps of tennis and golf and everything because that's
Yeah.
where I worked and that's where they could be, in the summers. And she learned to love tennis. And so we're really trying to focus on it's new to me. Like, you may know this, but you can't cheer at tennis.
Right.
Like, you have to be
I
quiet.
heard that. It's quiet, right?
I already got in trouble by some other moms. They're like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you go from a football game screaming
Right.
like a maniac
Right.
to being like, holding your mouth shut? Like, I'm learning. They have these other parents need to be patient,
Yeah,
because I've always been the mom coach on the sideline, and you can't do that in tennis. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Did you see the Venus and Serena movie? I forgot the name of it. King Arthur, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We watched that. And then Patrick told me there was another movie, and he's like, watch that one because I think it was Coco, maybe. It was
Oh, okay.
someone, and he was like, the girl in the movie reminded him of his sister. And he's like, y'all need to watch that one. So, anyways, yeah, it's different for all of them. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So Jackson, he's more into the business arena.
yes,
And then
yes,
Mia, and it seems like Patrick are more in sports right now, but
very,
Mia's
very
still
much.
young. Yeah.
Very much. Like
Yeah.
if she could play sports all the time, there's so many things that she does. Whether it's laying on the floor, throwing whatever's in her hand, anything in her hand, up in the air and catching it. Well, that's Patrick. And I'm like, this is so Patrick. Like she didn't remember him doing that, but or like anything. I mean, like throw it up against the wall, throw it up against this. And I'm like, I sit there and I'm like, this is so Patrick. It just has those memories of
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
doing it.
I think I remember you saying that about
Yeah.
Patrick, like him just throwing balls or things.
Everything was like catch. And I'm like,
Yeah.
seriously, we don't have to catch this.
Yeah.
Like we're at dinner, we don't catch, but that was just always him. So
Right. Now, how old were you when you became a single mom, and how old were Jackson and Patrick?
Patrick was in fourth grade,
Okay.
so about 8 or 9, I guess. And Jackson was 5 years younger, so about 4.
Well, I just think it's amazing that, I mean, how old were you? Oh, you don't
Way
need to bring
young.
that up. I know you were
Yeah.
young.
No, it's okay because I want someone to get my age right because I'm always laughing. I'm like, I even did an interview with a magazine and I told them, like, this is my age. They keep saying I'm in my 50s. I'm almost to 50, but not quite. I'm 48.
That's what I read
Yes,
48. Okay, so that's
thank you.
accurate.
And every time someone will read something, be like, dang, girl, you're already 52. And I'm like, no. I did an interview with the magazine and they still got it wrong. And I'm like, I
Oh my
told them.
goodness. Were you in your 20s when you became a single mom?
Probably at my late 20s. I mean, like maybe like 29, about how old Patrick is. I can't say that for sure without doing the math, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But you were young. But I
Yeah.
just think it's amazing that you were still a young mom. Were you working 2 jobs at that time?
I didn't start working 2 jobs until I worked at the country club for a year. And then after that, I started doing 2 jobs, like at night, and then I would work all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think it's amazing that even though you had this full life of your own, like you were still encouraging your kids to try different things.
Yes. And with the help of some great people, coaches and friends that I would, trust with Patrick because he was my sports player. He did a lot of tournaments, baseball tournaments. So I had parents that would take them for me and I would really trusted them to do it. And so,
Yeah. Now, was your family close by too? I know you said you had like 50 something.
yes, they were, but my mom would always attend the games and my dad, but I would usually, they were, older. And so I would send Patrick with his coaches to get there early, to get there to, get ready and everything.
Yeah. So there's some moms listening that maybe they have a child who potentially could be a child in the spotlight. And,
Yeah.
my husband, he works in the entertainment industry. I pursued acting initially, and we know what it's like in the spotlight, in the entertainment industry. It's not something I personally would want for my kids to them to pursue like an entertainment career. But
Yeah.
like you having been in this, like what would you say to a mom? Let's say they're not sure, and maybe their child wants to pursue acting, or maybe they're a great athlete and they see their potential. Like, what are your thoughts there?
Well, I love seeing Patrick live his dream and succeed on so many different levels. It has been a learning experience because as a 48-year-old woman that has been so independent and did so many things and learned, how to be an independent single mom to now having this whole and new life almost. It's that I'm having to relearn as a 48-year-old woman, whether it's being noticed where we never were noticed before, like I could go to the airport or, wherever, to reading things that are untrue, like my age, but other
Yeah.
things too. That
Yeah.
reading it and it's a hard thing to go through. I do, love, that Patrick is living his dream, but it's 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 caused a lot for our family just to have to relearn things like Jackson gets a lot of hate for, so many different, things that are untrue, and then my daughter is very shy. Something that's changed over the last 8 years. She's very shy and very low key, a lot of anxiety there in all different ways. So it affects the entire family whenever
Yeah.
you get into the spotlight. And there is a lot of great things, but at the same time, like, do we go to dinner as a family with Patrick? We go to his house. You
Yeah.
don't do normal things. But it is great. I mean, he's getting to do everything that he wants to do. Um, so I'm always like, go like help with your children, and if they have a dream, push them in the direction they want, as long as it's a good dream. But at the same time, like, there's been days that I've wanted just to have a normal, life. I want my grandkids to not be in the spotlight, even though they will be, just because I don't want it to affect them in a negative way either. Like it's affected some of our other family. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's just like, you want to you want to do it. You want all this to happen. And, I even say to Patrick a lot of times, I'm like, I knew you were going to be great. And I knew all of this, like once you focused on one sport, but it's still surreal, like even last night got home, laying in bed, and then I forgot to turn the TV off, and I wake up and Patrick's on a commercial, and I'm just sitting there going, it's my child, like on this commercial. Like it's still
Yeah.
like it's almost just, I don't know. He's still my child. I still look at him as Patrick or Jackson or Mia. I don't look at them any differently. They don't look at themselves any differently. So
Yeah.
it's just a hard thing.
Yeah.
It's different, but at the same time, we do have a platform, and we can share our beliefs, and we can share good things, and help people. Patrick just had his gala the other night and was able to give back so much money to help different other charities, and I love that giving heart um that he has to give back to people in need.
I love that. So I know for you, speaking of the spotlight, my Christian faith is important to me. So if my kids wanted to pursue a spotlight career, I would say, okay, make sure it's a God-led passion.
Yes.
I always encourage that. And I know you do the same. So speaking of that, I know that your Christian faith is important to you. So
Mhm.
how did that start? Like, how did you become a Christian and how did you instill that in your kids?
Well, when I was a young girl, my neighbors, my best friends, my neighbors, I would go to church with them every day. The doors were open. My parents worked a lot, and they would go to church, but not as often. And so my neighbors were my best friends, and I would go with them all during childhood. I went to camp. I went to all the youth stuff. I just grew up in church. Then I will say, when I had Patrick and started traveling, not that I went away from my faith. I just was scared to go find my own church in all these different towns that we lived in. And then when we moved to Japan for my ex-husband to play there, I started going to an international church. And it just kind of all like came, like, oh my gosh, like I remember hearing of, different things and having this international church. And then I came back and I was like, this was before I had Jackson. I just had Patrick, and I was like, we're going to go to church. I'm raising my kids in church. This is my faith. And that's whenever I was at home more here in East Texas. And we went to church every Sunday. I got Patrick and then Jackson into, vacation Bible school. And then through my divorce and through just being a single mom and working, um, every Sunday, no matter what, we were going to go to church. And so we did. And then Patrick found a new church that he wanted to go to because of friends at school. And I was all for it. And so when he became a Christian, and I knew that was my proudest moment for him. And he actually taught me something because he went to camp, and very, just very traditional churches, and I was always wanting to like raise my hands and like sing and just feel, but I was always like, I don't want my kids to think I'm crazy. And Patrick came home from camp and he did it on stage in front, like with all the youth. And I was like, oh my gosh. And after that, I just thought, my son can do this. Why am I so shy to like really, praise God, even
Mm-hmm.
though I did? And so then when he went to college, I was a little selfish and I was a single mom. So when he would come home, I thought he needed to spend time with me. What 18-year-old wants to spend time with their mom? And so I would always say, I don't have to know you're in town just as long as you're at church with me on Sunday. Because I thought if I couldn't teach him something, he could learn it there. Uh, to stay on a good path. Just you never know when your kids are grown. And so he would come home and he would show up for church 90% of the time. He would go. And so and then I had learned that he was doing a Bible study and stuff without even me knowing. And so my faith has just always brought me through some of the very hardest, lowest times in my life. I just always relied on God and praying and just him getting me through days that I didn't think I would be able to get through a day. And so and now I'm just like, I want to use my platform to be able to share Jesus and to share my faith. And if any of my friends that know me very close here locally, they always say I'm the person that's going to bring up Jesus and to anybody on a plane, in a taxi, in an Uber, somewhere. And they're like, you're the one person I know that's always going to start talking about it. And I'm like, well, some people don't hear it unless you share it. And so that's how my book came along, because it's for children, but with all the election stuff and with the craziness of the world, it could be for grown-ups too, actually.
Oh my goodness, that's so perfect. That title, Play Together.
Yes.
That's so
And
perfect.
each page of it tells a story of why you should play together.
Mhm.
And each one has a Bible verse on each page that goes along with what's going on, whether they need to play together on the playground or, wherever they are. Like, you could disagree, but still be friends. And so it has been, my mom passed away right before this book came out. And so, but in my heart, I've dedicated it to her, because I know how proud she would be. And I helped inspire the book, not actually physically write it. I helped along with Lenore Riggle to inspire it and to, give my opinions. We talked a lot, my thoughts. And so the characters in the book, everything. And so hopefully more will come from this. It's something that I've sold, I've given away. It's something just to get out there and let parents read to their kids. I know Patrick and Brittany read to my grandchildren every night before bed. That's their tradition that they have. And I love that a book that I helped inspire they've been able to read it.
That's awesome. So when is this? Is this a published book?
It is. It's on Amazon right now. And it's Play Together. And there's some local places that you can get it. Some others, throughout the country. There's different places that hold it. But Amazon, everyone knows what that is.
Yeah,
So,
I'll put the link in
yeah.
the show notes. So
Thank
just
you. Thank you.
as we wind down the conversation, do you have any other passions that you have that maybe people don't know about or that you're thinking about?
Mental health is a big thing. All the things going on in the world, my children, just, all the fake news that I read about me and my family personally, that has, been a lot. And so mental health is a big thing that I advocate for. I also have found that I love to give. I love to like share all the things that I get, the things that I'm able to do. I love to share it with my friends, strangers, friends, everybody. And just to live in the presence. I think so many people get caught up on their phones, me as well. And whether you're doing something, you're always on your phone. I'm like, live in the moment, look around. So I've been trying to really focus on putting down my phone, putting down social media, and just being present in the moment with family, friends, myself, just having a moment to myself without, all the influences that you get in the world. And then also, I want to be able to help other moms or parents that are looking at, like you said, that are looking into their children doing this. I want to share one-on-one or be able to talk to them about experiences and what to look out for. Because still with Patrick, 8 years into this career that has him on this platform, I want to be able to share, like, there's days that I still feel like a deer in the headlights. Like, I'm like, okay, what am I, like you would think it would get kind of easier, but sometimes I'm like, I just have to find my way, and I want to be able to make it easier on other parents. I'm not sure exactly how, but I just want to be able to guide them over the lessons that I've learned, and the people I either been around that I'm like, maybe not them, or, and like what I've learned through this experience, because it has been a roller coaster of greatness. And then it has been a lot of downs too. So just to be able to help one other person, it would make me feel good, and just to feel like I've done something.
That's awesome. Actually, before you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, maybe it was God.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, she's the person that could help someone going through this journey.
Yeah.
It's not just you as the mom who's going through it, it's your kids, it's family. Like, there's things that people don't realize, like being in the spotlight and just all the things, like how you mentioned the mental health, just everything. It's just how to handle that. People are not,
Yeah.
especially moms who are wanting their kids to be in the spotlight, they don't know what they're in
Yes.
for. So
They don't. And I really love that our team that we're on, just because the owners have the faith that I have, and it goes through, down. And I just love the familyness of it, and like just meeting like the other moms. People think like I know all the moms on the team or all the families, and I don't. You don't even see them at all at the game, and I'm like, I wish there was some other way that, we could all get to know each other a little bit, because I go to the game and leave and I don't see another parent or, anything unless I randomly bump into them. But I want to be able for us to come together. And this year I did do a pickleball tournament with a children's charity, and it brought a lot of the wives and girlfriends and even moms of players together. And we were able to raise over $100,000 for special needs children.
wow.
And I really am looking to bring all that together, because it kind of created a bond on a fun day. It created a bond that we're kind of getting to know each other. And otherwise we're just out there, trying to make it to the game and watch the game and go home. So this kind of gives us a good bond to get together.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
So is there anything else that you want to bring up or that we haven't talked about?
I would like to mention I have a website, qbproducer.com.
Oh, like quarterback
Producer. That was a joke started years ago when we first got there. Someone was a producer, and my friend joked and said, well, she produced a quarterback. So that was my.
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
That's perfect. I love that.
Yeah. So I do have a website that has a link to the book. I have a brand of shirts that came out, and I have, some jewelry, just some little things, but the book is on there, some other stuff. And then it gives kind of a bio and some information. I'm going to start sharing some fun family pictures never seen before, and things like that, just to kind of share, give me a platform to share more about my life and my children, and see where it takes me.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to check out the show notes for more on Randi, to get on my mailing list, and to get your laundry done for $10 off. Thank you so much for listening today. If you got any value from this episode, I would love for you to share this with another mom. As you know, my show is meant to be a blessing to mothers, so any support from you would be so appreciated. Until next time.